Not doing anything here at work. And YouTube wants us to try this new live streaming. And I thought I would do live streaming by first going up and talking about doing a little therapy session to tell y'all about my experience with COVID-19, the pandemic, how it affected me, how it shaped me, and once I get my story out, I'm going to leave them up, and then I'm gonna start going around getting other people's stories about how the pandemic shaped them, what COVID did for them. And I'm just gonna leave it up and share it around, and just pretty much tell my story. But this is part one. And it's gonna get kind of, it's like I said, it's my therapy session to get through my struggles with what the pandemic did for me and how it altered my life and shaped me. Let's start off with the pandemic itself. What I can tell y'all about the pandemic. First of all, let's rewind back to December of 2019, the holidays. I had got real sick. I got real sick around December 2019, and I went to the doctor because I just felt like a railroad truck I just felt like, not a railroad truck, a train hit me on a railroad track, like a freight train. It was just like I was sitting on the couch one day, and it just seemed like the ceiling just kept going further and further and further and further away. It just seemed like I was laying on the couch, and if y'all ever been that down and that sick, it seemed like every time I opened my eyes, the ceiling just kept going further and further away. And I just felt real bad. And so I decided, at that time I was getting ready to transfer from Navy Recruiting District Dallas to go to Navy Recruiting District Pittsburgh. But I was waiting on my orders to transfer. So I really wasn't going to work that much. The day before when I went to work, my master chief sent me home and told me, he said, "You don't look too well." And so I went home. Y'all gotta excuse me, these sinuses are getting to me. So what I did was, hello, Anaya. So I went to the doctor, right, that next day. I went to the doctor, and the doctor had checked my blood. I told him to do a whole full scan, everything, what's going on with me, because I just felt real bad. The doctor did all kind of tests, and he was like, "There's nothing wrong with you." And I'm like, excuse me, y'all, I'm coughing. Something went down the wrong pipe. But that ain't nothing but the devil don't want me to do my little therapy session with y'all and want me to get this out. Because I think this will help a lot of people if they talk about the pandemic and talk about what I'm going through. But this is part one. They kept saying nothing was wrong with me. So then I said, well, maybe it's the flu. I thought I was getting the flu because if you've ever had the flu real bad, it gets all in your joints. Like all my joints was feeling bad and everything. They ran tests on me. They did everything. They said nothing's wrong with me. They said it sounds like you have the flu, but you don't have the flu, because then they tested. They put the swabs up my nose and everything. And you got to remember, this is December 2019. This is before COVID. They did the flu test. You don't have the flu, but because you have the symptoms of the flu, we're going to give you a Z-Pack and Tamiflu. So I took the Tamiflu, I took the Z-Pack, I went back, and then for that whole week, it was just like, oh my God. I just kept calling in, and then, like I said, it wasn't like I had to go to work. I was transferring from one district to the next when I was in the United States Navy. So they was like, just stay home, Chief, get that out and work that out, right? I felt bad. I was eating soups, drinking teas and all this kind of stuff. And then a week later, I was fine. That was in December. January comes around, towards February, I got sick again. Now this time, it was just for a little bit. Got over that, went to Chicago for a ball, right? We're out in Chicago, everything. They started talking about COVID-19. Now, at this time, people's flights was getting canceled and all kind of stuff and everything. Get back home, everything shut down. Nobody's going to work. Everything is in home. Lockdown. This is COVID, some type of bug, blah, 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 whatever. At that time, I was living with my grandmother because I had moved out of my place because I knew that I was getting ready to transfer. I was just waiting on my orders to transfer, right? From Dallas, Texas to Pittsburgh, NRD Pittsburgh, but I was they had me in Erie, Pennsylvania. So I'm waiting. All of a sudden, I got this news from the United States Navy. Hey, we have to cancel your orders until further notice. We have to cancel all flights until further notice because we don't know what's going on right now. We don't want people getting on planes. We don't know what's going on, so lockdown. Now, by my grandmother having diabetes at the time, I didn't want to go back to her house because I had already checked out of my apartment complex and, because I knew I was leaving. So I didn't want to go back to my grandmother's house because, she had diabetes and stuff like that. And she was like, don't come, you know how grandmas is, baby, don't come over here with all that and stuff until we figure out what's going on. Now, March rolls around. I got sick again, but this is the time where they're doing like the swabs and stuff for COVID. They swab for the flu. They swab for COVID. They said I did not have COVID. They said I did not have the flu. At this time, I had lost sense in taste, sense in smell, all this kind of stuff, right? But that was before they were sticking the where they were sticking the swab all the way up your nose. So get finished with that. Got over that. Finally, they got me my orders. Now they're kind of navigating around May. They're kind of navigating how they're going to move people around the military. We still got to operate. We still have to move. We still are essential workers. We still recruiters. We still have to man the United States Navy, right? So they finally got me orders to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh stationed me in Erie, Pennsylvania. During this pandemic time, I'm not understanding how this is going to affect me at work because I'm thinking it's not going to affect me. I mean, I'm in the military. I'm going to get paid every 1st and 15th. All I got to do is do my job, right? But your job requires you to go look for people to put in the United States Navy during a pandemic. This has not been done, at least since the Spanish flu, right? Now we run into going out in the streets and trying to get people in the Navy that don't even want to come outside, right? Don't even want to join, don't want to do anything because they're scared of this COVID. They're scared of this pandemic. People are still getting sick left and right. People are dying. We have to watch the numbers every single day. What county has the most deaths? Who's got the most positive COVID results and stuff like that? So it was becoming a strain because at the same time, we still had this number that we had to get to put people in the United States Navy. Now, we were going to certain towns between Buffalo all the way down to Pittsburgh. There were certain towns that were almost like ghost towns. They were literally like ghost towns. You have me out here recruiting, trying to find someone to put in the United States Navy in a pandemic. Nobody is trying to hear nothing about go to the Navy, but we still have this number on us. Now we're getting blamed. The fingers are getting pointed. We're not doing our jobs. We're doing late nights. We're calling, door knocks, all this kind of stuff. But in the middle of this, we have Black Lives Matter going on. This is where the shocker came in. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I'm from the South. Racism in the South is kind of like indirect. Racism in the South is you know someone is a racist, but they know they better not say nothing. Up north in Erie County was so freaking racist as fuck. Was racist as fuck. So you took somebody from the hoods of South Dallas and you stationed them and put them somewhere like Erie, Pennsylvania, where it was racist. You got Black Lives Matter going on. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I'm knocking on people's doors. People looking at me like, who the fuck are you? I'm going into the woods of the Allegheny Forest. I'm going all over the place, right? From Buffalo all the way down to Pittsburgh and all the outskirts, going through these Amish countries. This is the first time I ever experienced Amish and going through these places where there was no lights at all, no electricity, no gas, no nothing. Driving in my BMW, real. I don't know nothing about no deer and shit running out in the front of the fucking cars and all this kind of stuff, right? All this is going on. I'm talking about waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, getting back home at 12 o'clock at night because you got to go pick up somebody 3 hours away, take them to Buffalo, then pick somebody else up from Buffalo, bring them all the way down to Erie. It was a lot. It was becoming a big strain, right? Because we was trying to do everything we could to put people in. But all of this is going on in a racist area. It was a kind of a culture shock. And this may sound crazy to y'all, but this is just my learning and my understanding of racism, slavery, the Confederacy, and all this kind of stuff. Now, I knew that we had racist people all the way over through Alabama, Mississippi, all the way over, up to Virginia and all, below the Mason-Dixon line. But I never thought in a million years that I would see Confederate flags all over the North, all through Pennsylvania, all through Erie. I'm talking about racist. At that time, it was 2020, right? This is the pandemic time. It's 2020. Trump 2024 flags were already flying. One of the little towns had a big mural of Trump, had a big blow up Trump in their downtown area, their little town area. Screw Joe Biden, all this kind of stuff, everything. All this is going on, and I'm just kind of like a culture shock. This is where I live. All this while still Black Lives Matter going on, people marching in the streets and stuff throughout Buffalo, Erie, all the cities in between, all the way down to Pittsburgh. Now, this is where it started getting crazy. One day, after going through all this, trying to put my recruiters out there, telling them, hey, we got to hit it hard. I understand we can't find nobody. I understand everybody is scared. Everybody's scared of a pandemic, but everybody's out in the street marching, right? It was weird. Black Lives Matter, we're all out in the street. Woo! But we can't go to the Navy. It was crazy. But anyways, I was asleep one night on a Saturday, didn't have to go to work or anything. I was asleep and I was in my bed and I heard a big slap. So me being the electrical engineer for the United States Navy, I know what that sound is. That means something has popped. That means like a circuit breaker or a transformer has popped. So when I heard it, I woke up and I looked around and I realized there was no electricity running because silence is loud to me, right? Because silence means we're dead in the water. Kind of like that ship that ran into the cargo ship that just ran into the bridge. Because of the loss of electricity, when you lose electricity, you lose all navigation, and now the water is just taking you. You're no longer navigating. So then you just have a risk of running into stuff, and that's kind of like what happened with that ship. That's why an electrical engineer, when we hear that, that's the scariest sound you can hear on a ship because now you're dead in the water. So I just heard silence. So I wake up when I heard the slap, which I know something something popped. So I woke up, it was dark. So I go outside, this is Erie, Pennsylvania now, right? So I go outside, I see everybody outside and everything, waiting, and I say, hey, what's going on? Did we lose power? Yeah. I'm looking around now. I had been in Erie maybe 6 months, maybe about 6 months. So I was like, I had got there in June. So June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Yeah. This was around by the holidays, around November time frame. I go outside, I'm looking around, and I never paid attention to who was in my apartments because, like I said, I wake up at 6 in the morning. I was all day long trying to find people to recruit, driving 3 hours away. It was just too much. The Navy with this number on me and all this kind of stuff, right? My neighbors, I never paid attention to my apartment complex. I never paid attention that I was the only Black person. Me and my boyfriend at the time. Yeah, boyfriend. But anyways, me and my boyfriend at the time were the only 2 Black people in the whole apartment complex, right? So I used to always have my boyfriend go out of town because me being in the pandemic and an essential worker, I could not go 50 miles outside of Erie County or the district that is Pittsburgh, right? So I didn't want him to be in this racist town. You young, it's the pandemic. Go to Chicago, do something, go to Detroit. So he wasn't there all the time. I was there by myself. I didn't realize we was the only Black people in those apartments. I went outside and I asked what had happened. My neighbor was like, oh, the power went out and all this kind of stuff. Then he looked at me and he said, hey, do you drive the red BMW, right? And I was like, yeah, sure, I drive the red BMW. And then he was like, I never really see you. When I wake up overnight, I see your car, but by the time I wake up in the morning, you're gone. And he said, then you're not back. And then I wake up in the middle of the night, you're back. He was like, and I said, well, yeah. I told him what I do. I said, I'm a Navy recruiter, and because I have all the territory between Buffalo and Pittsburgh, the Allegheny Forest, and if y'all know the Allegheny Forest, from Erie to the Allegheny Forest and throughout the Allegheny, that is about a 3, 4, 5 hour drives. Just driving all the time on these roads and stuff, going up, down, side, going to Ohio. It was a lot. So he was like, okay. I just thought black people hibernate in the wintertime. I'm like, this man didn't say this. He did not say this. So he laughing, and all the people outside was laughing. I'm the only black person there. And I just looked at him, and I was like, no. I was like, black people don't hibernate in the wintertime. I was like, I just went back in the house. My neighbor, she was running behind me. She was an old lady, lived right next door to me. She was like, I'm so sorry, Cedric. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you had to hear that. This is, 2020, racism. We know the Black Lives Matter. And I was like, don't even worry about it. I'm not even worried about it, because my thing is, okay, I've had racism before. I mean, I've been around the world and stuff like that. I've experienced racism. But to know that it was right there at my front door, I was like, okay, that was strike one. Next thing you know, I go to work a few days, few months later, I'm at work and stuff like that. I'm telling my recruiters, y'all need to get out here and do door knocks. One of my recruiters was telling me, I'm not doing door knocks, Chief. I'm not doing door knocks. I'm like, why are you not doing door knocks? These people are racist. They blah, blah, blah. I was like, I get it and all that stuff, but not everybody is racist. You have a uniform on, blah, 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 blah. I sent them out. They call me, Chief, there's a noose hanging from a tree, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I know you fucking lying. They take a picture, they send it to me. I tell them, get the fuck out of that area, because my recruiters were black, right? Y'all got these black, I had one dark-skinned lesbian butch recruiter in a racist area who was also decorated. So you already know that's, white supremacy don't want to see that. You know what I'm saying? Her and another recruiter, they showed me the noose, and I told them, get out of there. So then that kind of made me scared to send them out and do our job, which is knocking on doors, trying to find people that was qualified for the Navy, all this kind of stuff. Now, this is all going on during the pandemic, right? This whole time, the district is weighing down on me, telling me that I'm not doing my job. We're not making goal, all this kind of stuff. We're doing everything in the book. We're pulling hours and everything. That was strike two. Okay, well, I don't want y'all to go out there. You know what I'm saying? I'll go out there with y'all. I'm saying Confederate flags, swastika symbols. You got the Indian reservation, the Seneca Indians, and it's the Seneca tribe up there. They were like weird. You know what I'm saying? I've never been where I could tell that the Indians was like very overprotective of their reservations and stuff. So, and I can see now why, because it was so racist up there. The Amish people really used to look at us all crazy and stuff. It was crazy. But then I started doing phone calls because I didn't want to go out there no more, because I had seen it for myself. All the swastika symbols, the Trump 2024. This is in Erie, way north in Pennsylvania. Seen all these flags and stuff, all this racism. So I decided to do what we call phone power. And so I sit down, sitting down with my recruiters and everything. We going over the phones, and I'm saying, okay, I don't want to call these people, Chief, every time I call these people. Okay, let me show you how to do it, since y'all want to be scared to just call people on the phone, right? The first phone call I make, yes, can I speak to Jonathan? Who's this? Oh, this is Chief Johnson with the United States Navy. Why are you calling my phone? Oh, I was calling because, he requested information on education opportunities or maybe job opportunities with the United States Navy, and I wanted to see how I can benefit him now and in the future. As you can see, I did this as a profession. The first thing this man says is, are you a nigger? Excuse me? So I put it on the speakerphone. Are you black? And then everybody in the office looking at me, and I'm looking at them. because, I'm still kind of fairly new. So now I'm starting to really get what they've been telling me, how racist it is out there, right? And I said, yes, sir. He was like, do your wife suck nigger dick? And I was like, no, sir. If Jonathan's not there, he was like, no, she must suck Mexican dick. And then he hung up the phone. And they was like, this is what we've been trying to tell you. We are not, this is why we don't want to do our job. This is why we don't want to do our job, right? I said, okay, I get it. I said, oh, this is kind of like, that kind of really pissed me off, because what y'all not understanding is if I got your phone number, I also got your motherfucking address, right? I know everything, I mean, I know all your information, right? So the phone rung. I hit the little speaker button. I said, hello? Yes, did you just call my house and talk to my husband? I was like, yes, ma'am. What she said, go to hell. And she hung up. We laughed at that. But I'm sitting up here and I'm saying, okay, do you, the noose hanging? I thought black people hibernate during the wintertime. The Trump 2024 flags, the swastika symbols, the Confederate flags everywhere, and the Confederacy wasn't even up in the North. That made me start actually doing some research. So I just literally went to Google, and y'all can do this yourself. And I typed in 3 words: racism in Erie. Racism in Erie. All of a sudden, the article came up that was from at this time, now we're going forward to like January. An article comes up that said the government has declared racism a public health crisis in Erie County. You don't fucking say. I knew I was not crazy, right? So now this is the government. This is the mayor and the councilman and all these kind of people that run Erie County said that it was a racist county. Now this county covers all the way up to New York. You gotta follow me here. I'm in charge of this. This is going on during a pandemic. We're working long work hours. We're getting told that we're not doing our job. People are getting in trouble, getting reprimanded by the command, everything. It was just horrible, okay? And through all of this, my relationship was failing because why? I was not able to be there. If you're getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning and coming home at 12 o'clock at night, you really don't have no time for no doggone relationship, right? So all of this is going on. They started sending people out there to try to tell me how to do my job. They come out there and try to do it, no success. They started sending people that and show ain't as good as I am, because I can sell sugar to a dying diabetic in a fucking coma. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't get the job done, right? So now they want to move me from my position to another position. Because I did everything that they told me. I got reprimanded. I got a letter of reprimand. I got a LOI from the captain. I've never got these things before in my whole career of being in the Navy, 19 years at the time. So I had to do exactly what my master chief tell me to do. So I said, that's what I'm going to do. Exactly what the fuck y'all tell me to do. And if it does not work, who the fuck y'all going to blame? It wasn't working after 2 to 3 months of doing exactly what they said. So they moved me so they wouldn't look stupid, right? They moved me. Now I'm over the delayed entry program and the future sailor program, and everything's going good with that part, but I'm still stressed out, not going home, not taking care of myself, wore out, still going around, gotta sanitize this and mask that, and essential workers and motherfuckers not wanting to go. The little people we do got, we gotta keep them motivated. It was just too much. Driving from Buffalo all the way down to Erie to Pittsburgh, doing all that kind of stuff, right? And at the same time, racism is still going on. Oh, the straw that broke the camel's back for me is when we was outside passing out flyers just to let people know about the Navy, not asking you to go or anything, and I heard the word boy. We don't want that boy. Boy, you might as well call me a nigga. And it ran through me so fucking bad because here I am with all of this medals on my chest, looking nice. My recruiter, medals on her chest. We looking nice. We out here. If you don't give a damn about a United States sailor, then if I was just out here without this uniform on, you would probably hang me, right? That was what broke the camel's back. And then having my recruiter go before the captain and get reprimanded to the point to where they almost tried to kick her out and they made her damn near tick. You know what I'm saying? Well, actually, she did snap. She snapped on a senior chief that came in trying to tell her what's going on in the area, but he is white, right? So she told him what she told me, and I'm trying to justify it and let them know that I've been out there, a proven person that is successful in the streets of putting people in the United States Navy. I went out there myself, and if I can't do it, nobody can do it. They didn't want to hear it. So she snaps on him, right? She ended up going to counseling and all this kind of stuff, but then she ended up going to go see the captain. I stood by her. I put my anchors on the line. My master chief put his anchors on the line for her and everything because she was a great sailor. But the words that my captain said was, you signed up for mental warfare as well as physical warfare. Excuse me? And I'm standing there at attention while she's standing there getting reprimanded, and he said, I understand why you did what you did. I understand why you snapped on your senior chief, and I understand the situation that y'all are in. This is what this man is telling us. I understand the situation that y'all are in. But you signed up for physical warfare as well as mental warfare. And I'm sitting up here like, that's easy for you to say as a white man in America. You don't have to be called nigger. You don't have to be called boy. And you don't have to sleep with a 9mm by your side because they think that black people hibernate in the wintertime. You don't have to sleep with your 9 by your side because somebody called you boy. Or you went and seen a noose hanging, or swastika symbols, or Confederate flags, and these people looking down on you like you ain't nothing, and you sitting up here serving your country, right? During a Black Lives Matter protest and a pandemic where everybody is walking, you can't. That was the start of my pandemic. And I'm gonna leave it there. And then I'm gonna come back to y'all and tell y'all how it shaped my life and how everything happened. Cause right now, I was still 20 years, going on 21 years in the Navy, and I just knew I was gonna do 30 years, but I didn't. And let me tell you why.